Hi there. You probably encountered on your spiritual journey the word karma or cause and effect. Now, it is important to know that it has a lot of bad rap. And there is no thing such as bad karma or good karma. And the idea that you are getting punished or unpunished or rewarded in this way for good deeds or bad deeds, I think is a mistake. And so from all my work of working with people who are doing past life regression, connecting with their higher self, or the in between, the life between life, get a better view of what it is about. So, what is that karma or that those deeper lessons that your soul wishes to have and experience within itself in this lifetimes, on Earth or whatever. So, what is it about? So let's go back to what is the soul seeking to experience in a human life. And it usually revolves around certain themes. So, for example, if you experience, I'll take something that's everybody can relate to, rejection. We all have been experienced rejection from someone, from society, from individual, and it is a little tougher to feel and it's a little more triggering when you are on your spiritual journey and suddenly shift and change and open your consciousness and suddenly those people who are or your friends or family and suddenly there's a little more rejection or um, not accepting you as you would like to. So you experience that. But I'm sure at some point, even if you not notice that, you have rejected other people, rejected ideas, rejected something. So being the rejector and the rejected rejectee is, so I would say it. It's a different aspects of the same concept of rejection, which is really the opposite of love and acceptance, right? So, in that theme of love and acceptance, it is important to experience rejection to understand it more deeply. So, what's the problem with the soul? Why does the soul has to come here on earth to experience it? Because the soul by itself is always connected to source, always connected to love and acceptance, unconditional love. So, experiencing that um, reject it cannot experience rejection, so it's just really a concept that they cannot experience when they're fully connected with source, or in those realms that they know that the oneness with everything. They cannot do that, experience rejection. So they come to earth where they are more separate from the one and source to experience that concept of feeling rejected, or again the opposite of being loved and being fear and stuff, but being unloved. Okay, so when you experience love, you have to also experience what is to not experience love, or being the one who was unloving, or the one who's been unloved. So it's rather deep concepts that need to be accepted. And this is just one of them. It's the most universal one, love and the lack of it. But there's so many aspects and so many dimensions to that. So as a soul, you come here because you cannot experience it on a pure soul level, is to experience those what would consider unpleasant experiences. However, it is something that you have designed into your life to experience in a fuller way in order to understand it more fully, how the whole emotional process, the mental process, the hurt and pain, because you cannot experience it on the soul level. So this is important to know that the whole idea of cause and effect is not exactly um, because you did this, you're going to get that. There is a cause and effect. There is a cause, like if you're behaving in some way. So I want to separate cause and effect and what is karma. Because cause and effect is really about the consequences of your behavior and your accountability towards it. And when you make one choice, what will be the consequence? What will be in the highest good? And you can choose whether to do that or just go with your reactivity and a lower vibration and continue with your patterns of triggers and patterns. So that's a whole concept and conversation by itself, cause and effect. But we talk about karma, especially like lifetimes of karma. And so when you talk about karma, people are like, oh, it's we don't want to deal with karma. It's all karma. I have bad karma. No, you don't have bad karma. You don't have those struggles because you did something bad. It's not about punishment. It's not about, um, it's really just about learning all facets of a concept or a theme that your soul chooses to experience in several lifetimes. Okay. So let me see. My guides shared with me a little bit of today. So I want to dive into make sure that I cover all the points that wanted me to make in this video. So again, this is not a punishment or payment for good or bad behavior or actions. It's simply viewing the topic from different angles and experiences of the same theme. We also would like to share that it is your soul's choice to create those opportunities for deeper understanding and not a punishment from other beings that have power over you. Oh, that's a very good point. That is not the case in the spirit world. So it's not about, oh, this is done unto me. This is pushed onto me because from something beyond me that is punishing me or hurting me. Again, that misconception of what is God and reality of deities. And again, it's been misunderstood for millennia. So there's no power outside of you that is forcing you to experience it. It is your own soul's choice to bring that forth to your experience because that's what you're here to do. And it's not necessarily always unpleasant and not necessarily always pleasant, but it is really understanding the bigger themes and lessons within that. So um, I'll continue with the same example just to have some continuity here. When you are feeling rejected, I'm sure everybody felt rejected at some point in their life. And it's like, okay, how do I learn from it? What are the deeper lessons for me as a person, as a human being, as a soul that I would like to learn from this? So you take that and you start processing and reflecting on what are the deeper lessons for me. And you can do it in a deeper way, with hypnosis, not working with me and stuff like that. But you can do it on your own too in meditations. What am I learning about this? We're learning about, love, because this is really the ultimate lesson here, to understand the love and the lack of it, and the lack of showing it and rejecting someone, which is separateness, and moving away from oneness and into separateness, and which is more and more to lower vibrations, and understanding that and feeling that anguish of being rejected, and making sure that you don't reject again, and understanding that lesson from all aspects and all understanding. So once you understand it, you will simply not feel reject, or will definitely not be triggered by it again. And that lessons and that need to experience and learn from it will be subsided and be released because you already learned the lesson. So once you learn the lesson, it's really important to, and then you can release it from you. You don't have to continue that pattern of continuing to go into it deeper and deeper, because if you don't listen, if you don't reflect, you'll go into a deeper and deeper, stronger and stronger feelings and experience of it until you get the lesson. So when you start ignoring, that's called a spiritual 2x4, like getting whacked in the head, because you're not getting it on the lower subtle lessons. You're just ignoring it, keep living your life. So do the work, do the what's called shadow work, but it's really working on yourself, working on really increasing your understanding of what is it that you are experiencing in a curious way. Be curious about what is the lesson here? What am I here to learn from it? And the lessons are not like, oh, never be rejected again, so don't make any connections with anybody else. That's not a lesson. That's just the hurt. That's the pain, the fear, the talking. That's not the deeper spiritual lesson. It never is. It's like, okay, I will never do it again. If you have experience of being ridiculed in third grade by standing up and saying something the wrong answer in class, your lesson is not to never speak again in public. That's not a good lesson. It doesn't open you, it constricts you. So what will be the lesson that is in your highest good to understand about any topic? So see it in that way and allow yourself to learn it faster. And this is where the spiritual journey really helps you to learn those lessons faster and faster. The first lessons are really big, and then it started like there's smaller increments, but you're getting more and more lessons. Like, okay, and you can let go of it now, and I can understand. Okay, what is it? What are the facets of this theme of that you experience in your life, whatever that is, whether it's loss, rejection, um, abandonment. There's a lot of really big triggers that everybody experiences. It's not necessarily very pleasant. But there is something about it that is there, and it's not a burden. It's not forced upon you by hours beyond you. It is something that is there for you that you have chosen as a soul to experience by yourself. Let's see, what else? I believe this is it about this idea and concepts. This is the gist of it in very short explanation of what it is to experience karma and releasing karma. So when you do those deeper inner works and you go through some sessions, you do past life regressions, you do some soul work, it's for like, what are the deeper lessons in this lifetime, other lifetimes? This is where you are on higher levels of consciousness that we are experiencing in this lifetime as you are spiritually awakening. It's probably one of the highest vibrational lives you have had on Earth. So it's important to know that, okay, this is the time to process a lot of things from this lifetime and other lifetimes that show up or repeating show up because the lesson hasn't been completely learned. So this is the time to do it. This is the time to approach it and see it with curiosity. It's not a punishment. It's not a burden. It's not something that is overpowering you to experience it. It is you, your soul, and take it with that and really see the grace and the beauty in learning, and be curious about yourself, about the patterns in your life, and who you are becoming. So enjoy that journey. Talk to you soon. If you have any questions about it or any comments about this video, please share the video, subscribe to this channel, and if you have any questions about it, just post it below. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.